And we'll begin. All right. So let's start our practice prone facing. So we're going to come down on our mat, face down, hands underneath the forehead, resting on our belly. It's an invocation for just a little bit of a back bend. It's also a very grounding posture, a great place to start. I'm going to remain seated here as we start our practice, just so that I can offer you the invocation chant for us to gather, for us to unify, even though we are, of course, in our own separate spaces and places. Go ahead and let your eyes close as you rest your forehead on your hands. Okay, start your breath practice, ideally through the nostrils. And letting the breath move in and out of the nose. Let's not worry about ujjayi breath just yet, but rather just simply shifting into that nostril breathing as compared to the mouth breathing practice. And perhaps even as you just linger here for a few moments, to see if you can create some kind of balanced place between the inhale and the exhale. You'll start to recognize perhaps the slight pause that exists at the top of the inhale before it changes to the exhale, and then the same at the bottom of the exhale before it switches to then find the next inhale. Our breath practice is very much the kind of focal point of our practice, of the posture, of the yoga. And I like to think of the breath practice as the opportunity to acknowledge the movement and the stillness. So in a Vinyasa sequence, a Vinyasa style class, like we're about to embark on, the movement of the breath, so the inhale and the exhale, those are reflective of the kind of space between the poses. And then the posture itself, once we arrive, once we've fidgeted, once we've adjusted the shape, the form, that posture, that held pose is like the pause that exists in the space between the breath. Okay, so let yourself just drop into your movement practice and to recognize the difference in your breath patterning. Solidifying an understanding of what's happening with your breath can help us to enhance the physical experience, the movement, and the stillness. As you linger here for just a few more moments, I offer you this invocation chant. It's a Shanti mantra, a peace mantra. One that helps us to, embody these practices that have been passed down over generations of teachers and students doing exactly what we are doing right here and right now. Sahana vavatu, sahana bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu, ma vidvishavahai. All right, go ahead and let yourself find another nice full deep breath in here. And a nice full deep breath out. And you might now start to welcome the ujjayi breath Okay, the inhale and the exhale as it moves and travels through your body. A little bit of that ha sound experience, creating some warming, some heat, an opportunity to kind of welcome that into our bodies, into the practice, and to help burn through that which we find coming up in resistance. And take one more breath here. And let your breath come out. And then from here, tuck your toes under and bring your legs a bit more parallel if they've been wide. Lift your head then after you've flattened your feet on the floor. Take your right arm out, stretch it to the side. Roll over as you find a prone shoulder stretch to start our practice. Feel free to let your right temple come to the floor. Feel free to bend your top knee and just invite that sense of opening, a simple twist and rotation. Offering an opportunity to get into the shoulder and to just start to welcome this kind of idea of awakening to the movement and the stillness practice. And take one more breath here. And your breath out. And inhale, return, find your way back over onto your belly. And then exhale, let your hands come by your ribs. Point those toes straight back, lift your head, find a nice opportunity to stretch into just a simple baby cobra. Okay, rolling the shoulders onto the back, down the back as you stretch the heart space forward. And you take one more breath in here. Exhale, return, come down. Hey, let the left arm stretch out to the side. Ease yourself now onto the prone shoulder stretch. Other way, hey, bend, stack, do whatever you wish to do with your legs as far as finding an opportunity to kind of support and balance yourself. As you open up that left side, left temple can be down. You can certainly keep it elevated as well. Take a breath in. Let your breath move out. One more here, inhale. And then your exhale. Inhale, return, find your way back over onto your belly, both legs extended, both hands beside those ribs, and then again, just a baby cobra. Stretch the heart space forward. Let's gain access to that bit of space we put into the front side of the shoulders, and by dropping the shoulders onto the back and out of the ears. Okay, so this nice retraction down. Then place a little bit of weight into your hands and see if you can almost start to drag yourself forward, elongating, stretching forward, which eventually will translate into a deeper back bend. But for now, we're just working to lengthen. Take one more breath in. Exhale, come back down to the floor, tuck your toes under, press yourself up, find your tabletop, and then let's adjust so that we come to a wide child's pose. Spider your hands forward as you descend your chest, forehead, nose, or chin towards the mat. You might even tent your fingers here to help create a little bit more lift and space in the underarm and chest, all without impeding the shoulder, okay? So we don't want the shoulder to find any sense of aggravation. So maybe the hands have to go wider. As we work to maintain this nice extended child's pose, I invite you to tone your belly muscles. As you exhale in particular, although we work eventually to maintain that sense of tonality throughout our practice and experience. All the while offering a back and downward pressure so our hips move towards our heels a bit more accessibly. Take one more breath in here. Let your breath move out. Ground your palms, rise, find your way from child to tabletop. And then right away, let's find our downward facing dog, maintaining that constancy to stretch the spine and then to just ease those legs open. So invite the knees to remain bent here in your first Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing. But continue to practice pressing into the palms. Press opening through the underarms. Keep the shoulders moving out of the ears. Tone your belly, lift your sit bones, and then just passively let your heels fall towards the back end of your mat. Take a breath in. Let your breath move out. Inhale, lift your head, look forward. As you exhale, take both feet all the way up towards the top of the mat here. Nice little parallel line, nice little softness at the knees. Fingertips can come to the floor, maybe hands, maybe the knees are a bit more bent. Okay, nod the head, let your spine descend over the thighs as the backs of those legs just open a bit more. This is a nice opportunity to decompress the spine, to help practice elongating, to create space so that we can eventually move more easily, more freely into our back bends. Okay, take one more breath here. Let your breath come out. Inhale, soft knees, head up, look forward, tone the belly. Exhale, fold, release over the legs. Do that again, half lift. Inhale, extend, stretch, elongate. Exhale, fold, release. One more time, half lift. Inhale, extend, lengthen, tone the belly. Stay here. Exhale, take your hands to your hips. Like your cobra, your baby cobra, pull your shoulders onto your back, but practice toning the belly so that we're not arching into the lumbar, but rather solidifying a nice, strong, extended spine. On your next inhale, use those strong legs, glutes and hamstrings to bring you upright to mountain pose, Samastitihi. Surya Namaskars. Inhale, arms up, look up maybe. Exhale, soften the knees, take yourself down over the legs. Find a half lift, bring the head above the heart, shoulders retract. Exhale, step the right leg back. Pause in the lunge. Settle and sink in. As we sink here into the posture, let's start to pay attention to how when we have the legs split in this kind of a fashion, how the back hip has the opportunity to turn and spiral in a little bit more instead of lift and open out. So practicing a bit of squareness at the hips, that will eventually help us in our development of our pigeon practice. All right, take a breath in. As you exhale, step back to downward dog. Lift your hips up and back. Next inhale, come forward, find plank pose. Adjust as you need to, lift your head, tone your belly. Exhale, take your knees to the floor. Drop your shoulders onto the back, find your cow pose. Inhale, gaze forward or up. Exhale, shift forward, bring the chest, forehead, nose, or chin to the mat. Slide onto your belly, tense your fingers, Cobra Pose, inhale. Come back down, exhale. One more Cobra, inhale. Exhale. Press those palms, tone the belly, lift up, table or plank, downward facing. Shift those hips up and back as you once again invert the V. Take a breath in here. Let your breath move out. One more breath in. And your breath out. Inhale, lift your gaze, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step your right foot to the top of the mat, tense your fingers, sink down into your hips, lift your gaze. Again, let the back hip, the left hip spin more forward and down, noting the anticipation that it tends to open out to the side. So that's the refinement, that's that repetition, that's getting to know the habits that exist in the way we move and to practice, refining them. Take one more breath. Exhale, step forward, fold over the legs, feet arriving parallel, top of the mat. All the way up to stand, arms lift, palms touch, inhale. Samastitihi, mountain pose. Surya Namaskar again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold it. Half lift, inhale. Left foot back. Find your lunge. As the leg moves back, turn the hip forward, sink and settle, lift your gaze. Keep the back of the neck long, keep the tonality across the abdomen. Take a breath, downward facing, exhale, hips come up and back. Plank pose, in breath. Pause, exhale, knees to the floor. Cow pose, inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows, come down. Ashtangasana, inhale, onto the belly, Cobra. Back to your belly, exhale. Cobra again, inhale. Exhale, down. Press up, table or plank. Downward facing, we get to pause, hold steady the posture. I'm gonna practice noticing the breath movement, and of course the spaces between the slight little pauses that exist. Inhaling and exhaling. One more. And out. Inhale, lift your gaze, look through the hands. Exhale, step the left foot to the top of the mat, tense your fingers, sink down, head up, turn your right hip forward. Just that simple refinement. It's like you're trying to take your right inner thigh and lift it up instead of the outer right thigh. Take one more breath. Exhale, step forward, fold over your legs. All the way up, arms lift, palms touch, inhale. Exhale, mountain pose, Samastitihi. Okay, let's build an add-on. Inhale, arms up, lift up, look up. Exhale, take it down over your legs. Half lift, inhale, shoulders retract. Exhale, step the right leg back, and this time we'll let the knee come down to the floor. So square your hip first, turn the right hip forward, then place your knee down to the mat. If possible, keep your back toes tucked under. Tone the belly and inhale, rise. Come on up to Anjaneyasana. Stand on the front foot, tone the belly, and pull yourself maybe a bit more vertical. That'll just give some access to the hip and the quad here on the front side so that we don't collapse into the lumbar. Practice stretching and reaching towards the sky, yet descend your shoulders onto your back. Tone the belly, and then just maybe we'll sink into the front thigh a little bit more. All right, back toes tucked here. We breathe in. Exhale, float forward, lift the back knee, reach your arms back. Do that again, back knee down, arms up. Inhale. Exhale, float, hover. One more, inhale. Exhale, hover, stretch the arms back. Let's see if we can turn the palms towards the floor here. Maybe even turn the thumb side of the hands up, opening across those shoulders. Fire up, work some heat into that left leg. Spin your right hip more forward as it probably turned out. One more breath, and out. Finally, inhale, hands to the floor, downward facing. Exhale, hips come up and back. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees. Front side body opens in breath. Exhale, bend the elbows, come forward and down. Onto the belly, Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, back down. Press up, table or plank. Downward facing, hips up and back. Smooth it out, inhale. And exhale. One more here, in breath. And your out breath. You're walking your feet a little closer together at the back of your mat. Take your right leg and reach it back behind you. Bend your knee, heel to bum. Open your knee towards the side as we stretch into a little three-legged dog pose. And see if you can practice squaring the shoulders towards the floor. Opening across the inner thigh line on the left and the quad on the right. Inhale, straighten the right leg back. And exhale, lower it down. Lift your gaze, look forward. Step your left foot to the top of your mat. Turn your right heel down. Warrior one, Virasana A. Come on up, lift up. So it's that same bit of activity going on that we just did in Warrior 3, happening here in the back leg. Our work and intention through the chest and shoulders is like what we just did too, where we work to create downward dog, chest, shoulder, square. Okay, take another breath in here in Vira 1. Let your breath come out. Lace your hands behind you. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Humble warrior on your exhale, starting that fold eventually on the inside of that front thigh. Palms can be a little closer together. Outer aspect of your left hip, turn it back. Outer aspect of your right hip, turn it more forward. Keep your back foot planted. Keep your shoulders out of your ears and just pause one more. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, part way up, hands to the floor, head lifts, looks forward. Exhale, step forward, fold over your legs, top of the mat. All the way up to stand, arms lift, palms touch. Exhale, Samasthiti, mountain pose. Second side, inhale, arms up, lift. Exhale, take it down. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, step the left foot back. Square your left hip forward and then take the knee down to the ground. Low Anjaneyasana, inhale, rise, come on up. Stand firmly on the front foot, straighten the leg out a little bit, lift and tone across the belly. Practice taking your outer left hip forward, outer right hip back. Okay, like you're suspended from something above, yet the shoulders descend out of the ears. Lunge more deeply as it feels appropriate to ease open the left hip flexor. And there's an opportunity here to also practice almost dragging your front heel back towards your back knee. Okay, that helps to illuminate kind of the undercarriage of all of our posturing, our Mula Bandha. Okay, take one more breath here, back toes tucked. Exhale, hover as you float over the front thigh, lift the back knee. Again, inhale, knee down, arms rise. Exhale, float, hover. One more time, inhale, down, lift up. Exhale, hover, pause. Shoulders onto the back, tone the belly. Maybe turn the palms so that they face down, thumbs wide. Maybe the thumbs start to turn up a bit. Stretch the crown forward. Tone the belly. Take your left hip more forward. See what kind of simple little challenge that presents. One more full breath in and out. Inhale, hands to the floor. Downward facing, hips come up and back. Inhale, plank. Pause. Exhale, knees. Cow pose, shoulders down, head up in breath. Ashtangasana, bend the elbows, come forward and down. Onto the belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release it. Press up, table or plank. Downward facing, hips draw up and away. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, inhale. And exhale. One more here, in breath. And out. Walking our feet a little closer together at the back of our mat. It's now the left leg that floats. The knee bends, the hip opens. And we find some strength and length in our right leg, some opening in our left. We practice keeping the chest, shoulder square, so lift your right armpit and turn your left armpit down. Take one more breath and out. Inhale, straightening the left. Exhale, downward facing. Lift your gaze, look forward. Exhale, right foot top of the mat as the left heel turns down. Rise, Virabhadrasana A, warrior one, second side. Okay, so again, mimicking that rotation and opening we just did from our down dog, squaring and offering the armpits to stay straight ahead as those arms extend. Breathe in, navel in, exhale. One more here, breathe in. Exhale, hands behind, lace, shoulders roll onto the back, open the chest, humble warrior, fold as you exhale. And as you fold yourself down, root through the back foot. Take your outer left hip and turn it forward a bit more. Take your outer right hip, pull it back a bit more, but keep your right knee bending forward. Keep your shoulders moving onto your back, out of your ears, and continue to descend. One more breath, and out. Inhale, part way up, fingertips to the floor, head lifts. Exhale, step forward, fold over the legs, top of the mat.
All the way up, arms get tall as you lift, palms can touch.
Exhale, Samasthiti, mountain pose.
Let's take those big toes to touch, heels slightly apart, soften through those knees. Inhale, sweep your arms, lift up. Cross last 3 fingers and thumb, working the index and the pinky side of your hands to touch. Exhale, arch towards your right, letting your left side body get a little longer. Tone your belly and continue to practice keeping your armpits face forward here. Okay, so straight ahead, think of your downward dog. Okay, but let's not twist our hips too much. Pull your hips forward, so create the twist across the waist. Okay, so hips stay forward and then those armpits turn forward too. Okay, take one more breath, squeezing the pinky side of your hand together. Exhale. Rise through your center line in breath.
Exhale, fold, release over the legs. Half lift, head above the heart. Inhale. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, step your left foot back, turn your heel in and down, bring your right elbow to your thigh or keep the hand to the floor, and then again, left side long. Take that arm, start to reach it over your head. Okay, obviously adjust with the hand on the ribs or the hip if you need to support your shoulder. Okay, so here you've got the chest relatively kind of almost turned down. So we have to apply that same bit of twisting where we're trying to get our armpits, not just the top armpit, but the bottom armpit. It's hidden in here, but we have to see if we can twist it open, all while creating resistance with the front leg. Okay? And that'll help anchor us so that the hips and the armpits can twist more openly into extended side angle. Take a breath in, let your breath come out. One more inhale and exhale. Inhale, sweep the arms, rise up, brief warrior 2, strong across the legs. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Okay, mind the hyperextension in the front knee, reach forward, let's find our way into Trikhanasana. Okay, landing your hand onto the thigh or to the shin, further down. Okay, again, the hips, we're practicing turning them open, and then we're getting those ribs to turn to face the side, those armpits. As you slide that bottom hand onto the bottom leg, mind the hyperextension and pressure with the weight on that leg. Spin the chest open, and then maybe lift your gaze. Take a breath, and out. One more breath in. Exhale, look down, bend the knee, hands to the floor. Downward facing dog pose, lifting those hips up and back. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale to the knees. Drop the shoulders in breath. Exhale, elbows bend, chest, chin towards the floor. Onto the belly, cobra, inhale. Exhale, back down. Press it up, table or plank. Downward facing, hips up and away. Take a breath. And out. One more here, inhale. And then your exhale. Inhale, lift your gaze, look forward. As you exhale, bring your right knee into your right elbow. See if you can pause. Take a breath. Exhale, can you pick your right knee up to your tricep? Breathe in. As you exhale, squeeze your heel towards your butt cheek on that right side. Then stretch the leg up and back, three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, right foot through, top of the mat. Stay on your back toes. Rise, come on up. Anjaneyasana, Crescent Lunge. Tone your belly, balance. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Lean forward. Try not to leap, but rather lean into taking your left toes away from the floor. Then bend your left knee and slowly rise to stand up on your right side, reaching back now to find left hand to left foot. Okay, work to take your thighs together, turning your outer left hip forward, inner left thigh back. Tone the belly, square chest and armpits. Right arm to the side or up for balance.
And then as you're ready, a little bit of pressure. Left hand, left foot, come to your Natarajasana. Okay, here, like in our three-legged dog, which we've chatted about, we want the chest, the heart to stay forward instead of twisted as we work to extend the left leg back as little or as much, right? It's not necessarily about how far back or how high up the left leg lifts, but rather the chest square and opening. Take one more breath. Exhale, release. Feet to the mat. Hands come to Anjali Mudra in heart center. Big toes touch, heels apart. We start our sequence over. Inhale, arms up. Cross last three fingers and thumb. Soften the knees. Exhale, arch to your left, letting the right side body get longer. As the hands work to stay laced, practice taking the pinky side of your palms closer. Squeeze with those webs of your fingers. Tone the belly. Keep your hips forward, but turn your left armpit more up instead of down. Give that right side aspect of your body more space, and then breathe into it. Take one more breath, and out. Inhale, rise through your center line. Exhale, release the arms. Take it down, fold. Half lift, head above the heart, inhale. Exhale, step the right foot back. Turn your heel in and down, lining up your feet. Put the elbow to the thigh or keep your left fingertips to the floor. And then again, right side body gets long. We sink into the hips. As you lunge your left knee forward, make sure that you've got a nice perpendicular line with your shin. Keep your knee pressing into your left arm or elbow. Tone your belly. And then practice the revolve as you twist your chest, armpits open. Extended side angle, Uttita Trikhanasana here, working the lateral body. Lateral body helps us develop length across all aspects of our spine, which in turn helps to promote more evenness in our back bends. Every exhale, take the navel into the spine, supporting with that rich, strong Mula Bandha practice. Take one more breath. Let your breath come out. Strong front leg rise, warrior two as you come up. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Trikhanasana, land, left hand, thigh, or further down as we start to slide into our posture. Top arm again, opt for the hand to the hip, or we can certainly keep the arm extended. Lengthen your spine, in particular the underside of your body, as we work to draw, in this case, the left hip back, and then work to spiral it open. Keep that front leg strong and not locked, and let your gaze float to wherever helps you to feel steady and fully embodied in the posture. Take another breath, and out. One more inhale. Exhale, look down, soften the knee, hands to the floor, downward facing dog as those hips once again come up and back. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees. Shoulders drop, in breath. Exhale, elbows bend, chest, forehead, nose, or chin to the floor. Onto your belly, Bhujangasana, inhale. Exhale, back down. Press up, table or plank. Downward facing as those hips once again shift up and back. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more here, inhale. And then your exhale. All right, inhale, lift your gaze, look forward. Exhale, take the left knee into the left elbow, pause. Breathe in. As you exhale, lift the left knee up onto your tricep if you can. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lift your left heel to your butt cheek. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee to chest, step through top of the mat. Anjaneyasana, rise, come up, crescent lunge. Take that right hip, turn it more forward. Okay, hands Anjali Mudra. Try not to leap, but rather lean until eventually left leg is so strong it floats that right leg up and off the floor. Start to bend your right knee. Ease into a vertical line with the spine, toning that left glute. Right hand comes around to find the right foot. Work to turn the thighs together. Outer right hip forward, inner right thigh back. Chest, heart. Okay, nice and forward, left arm side or up. And then as you're ready, explore whatever amount of lift is there and is appropriate. That gives you an opportunity for growth and development, but doesn't kind of push beyond the limitations that exist. Breathe and out. Again, inhale and exhale. Inhale, slowly release. Right foot meets the left. Samastitihi, mountain pose at the top of our mat. Arms up, inhale, lift and look up. Exhale, take it down. Half lift, head above the heart. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back, downward facing dog pose. And then from dog pose to tabletop. From tabletop, find Virasana, hero's posture. Okay, tone the belly as we just work to sit in Virasana here, hero's pose. Okay, if you need some support and have to sit a little higher, find it. And we'll continue to progress our way down in this posture. Okay, tone the belly, lengthen up the back side of the crown. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. Take the palms to touch overhead. Exhale, let your right arm come around behind you. Help it. Guide it across the small of your back towards your left side waist. And then without forcing your hand up your back any more than it's ready to go, start to turn your hand so that it moves up your back. So from across your back to eventually up your spine, mimicking that same line of the vertebral column. As you do this, continue to influence some nice steadiness by drawing the navel in. As you roll your right shoulder back, listen to that anterior delt. Here's where your strap can come in handy, but sometimes, as I've mentioned, sometimes it's nice not to move into the depth of the bind, but rather just the space before that, so that you can then let yourself settle first. This is where I'm asked to go. Am I prepared? Am I ready? Am I ready, willing, and able? And then, of course, if it's there, right, sometimes when we monkey grip our fingers too, that can create some real gripping, not just in the fingers, but in the shoulders themselves. So pay attention to that if and when it arises. You take one more breath here, and then let your breath come out. Inhale, release the arms, stretch them in opposition. And then exhale, take your hands to the floor, downward facing dog pose as those hips lift up and back. Take a breath in here in Adho Mukha, and then your breath out. All right, inhale, lift your gaze, look forward. As you exhale, take your left shin forward for Pigeon Pose. Knee to wrist, foot swings under, and then we have that right leg sliding back. Okay, let's set ourselves up with our first round of Pigeon. Okay, adjusting that front leg, hip, knee, adjusting the foot. Sometimes a little more or a little less placed is ideal in your practice. As we've practiced again, we want to practice taking the right hip forward. It's a lot of practice. Okay, eventually those back toes can lay flat. And then with your elbows slightly bent, I invite you to tense your fingers. Then tone your belly. Then promote a bit of Cobra. Okay, way back in the beginning of our practice, when we were on our belly and the hands down, I asked you to slide as if you could slide forward, creating extension. Okay, then the more that you tone your belly, I want you to push down with your front thigh so you almost lift up a bit. And now you might even have those arms extended. Okay, then you can practice retracting the shoulders, maybe even walking the hands back. So it's our upward facing Pigeon Pose we're after. Okay, the head eventually chin parallel with the floor. Okay, as the torso, the spine extends up, which ultimately translates into back. Okay, take one more breath. Let your breath move out.
Inhale, ease yourself forward, walk your hands forward, walk your back toes forward, downward facing dog pose, lifting your hips up and back. Take a breath and out. Inhale, come to those knees. Virasana again, sitting on your heels or your prop, aligning the spine, nice and vertical. All right, let's take our left arm around behind across the small of the back. And then eventually it starts to travel up the spine line. The more the arm comes back, the more we have to pay attention to when that forces the sway into the lumbar and a kind of opening across the front side of the ribs. Here's where that core conditioning, drawing in and back, helps to isolate the movement at the shoulder instead of just using an often hypermobile lower rib cage, lower thoracic spine. And then from here, we take the right arm, maybe use the strap, maybe just simply work to place the hand on the back of the head, somewhere around where the shoulders and the neck meet, or where the skull and your neck meet. The occipital lobes are across that cervical and thoracic spine. And then if it's there, we can work the bind as long as it doesn't feel gripping or forced. Elbows are in opposition, belly continues to tone, the head keeps pressing itself back. Take a breath and out. One more inhale here. And exhale. Okay, release, stretch those arms in opposition as you open it out. Exhale again, hands come to the floor. Downward facing dog pose as we lift up and away. Take a breath and out. Inhale, lift your gaze, look forward between your hands. Take your right shin now through for pigeon on the other side. Left knee comes down. As the knee comes down, turn your hip forward, left hip forward. Adjust your front leg if you need to before you move so deeply into the posture that you're then stuck instead of practicing that alignment-based movement practice. Again, we work to tent the fingers. You can take that back foot and flatten the toes should you wish. We tone the belly. After we tone the belly, we drop the shoulders. You find that bit of cobra. And then there's that stretch, like you're trying to slide up, literally from your back knee across your hips. The navel keeps drawing in. Then we press down with our front leg and maybe propel ourselves up in the pose. And we breathe. We lift, we float, we breathe. One more here. And out. Inhale, come forward, return the palms to the mat. Tuck the back toes, downward facing, hips shift, and lift up and away. Take a breath. And out. One more here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale again, lift your gaze, look forward. Take your left knee forward and shin to the floor. Pigeon pose on the left side, second round. Okay, adjust, right hip forward, left hip back, right foot back, tented fingers, shoulders back, heart through. We lengthen out and up. Push down through that front leg, maybe adjust the hands, right? You can be more forward in the pose if you need to be there. You just have to pay attention to what your needs are. And then from here, we start to play with that back foot like we did in the lift off of Warrior 3. Okay, we start to bend the knee. The foot will naturally want to fall to the left. So here's our work to lift with the inner thigh. Okay, so the foot's going to want to fall and move out. So that internal rotation work is really where it's at. The chest, the heart stays moving forward as much as possible. We take one more breath. We exhale, lower the toes as they tuck back down to the floor. Press into the palms. Lift up, three-legged dog. Left leg up and away. Inhale. Exhale, left knee back through. Pigeon on this side one more time. Knee down, hip square, slide the leg back, right hip, turn it forward, tense your fingers, shoulders down, tone the belly, drag up, lift up. So back to this place. From here again, we work perhaps bend the knee. Note, okay, the resistance in moving out and the desire to collapse in. Work to create strength in that resistance. Okay, then we can take right hand back, maybe find the foot. Just like the dancer, you may need to be more forward. You may need to remind yourself, tone the belly. Over time, we lift. We lift, we lift. The heel and the glute can get a little closer, and eventually the hand, as long as the shoulder is open to it, like our prone shoulder stretch, the hand comes on the inside. Of course, just bending on the knee, the hip flexor, the hamstring, the foot will eventually find your elbow crook. And then the left hand, we press down with the left hand, press down with the left leg. Practice turning our right armpit forward. Okay, some bind here maybe. Some bind here maybe. And eventually unfold into the full mermaid pose. Head is up, chest lifted, breath happening. Be wherever you are in your variation. Right? This is the pause of the pose. Feel the movement of the breath. Take one more and out. Release. Ease the hands. Try not to let that back leg go like a broken guitar string. Walk your back foot in. Downward facing dog. Never felt so good. Tone the belly. Find this nice neutral shape. Nod the head. Yes and no. Take a breath. And out. One more here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lift your gaze, look forward between your hands. Take the right shin now through for our first pigeon. Okay, sliding that left leg back, but take the left hip forward as you do. Continue to slide it back, sink it down, tone the belly. Let your back toes flatten. Okay, again, bend the elbows, tented fingers, shoulders down, chest up. We've made it back to here. Push down with the right leg, lift up a little higher, again, if that's there. And then let's play with bending the back leg like in our dancer posture. Maybe you need to lean forwards to start, and then you can work to bend the back leg. Again, the foot is going to want to fall to the right, twisting you open, but your work is to notice that and stay in the practice of straight ahead. As that foot now pushes towards the left side to stay out. Then maybe we lift up. We descend the shoulders. We practice that cobra. We take the navel in. We press down with that front thigh. Exhale, release. Toes tuck, hands to the floor. Lift up, right leg, three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, right leg through, pigeon pose. Last time here. Okay, so sink, all kinds of layers, different kramas, different variations upon which you can play and move with or through. Tented fingers, shoulders down, belly up, chest. Again, like you're trying to slide forward and up like in our Bhujangasana Cobra posture practice. And then again from here, should it be there, we start to bend the back leg, resist temptation and the easeful path of falling in. Stay with the foot moving out. Chest higher. Stay there, or now it's the left hand that finds the bind. And stay here, see how this feels. Let's not collapse into the low back. Let's tone the belly and lift up, lengthen up while you sink and strengthen through that front thigh. Again, if it's there, the hand will start to travel inside the arch. Thumb is up, shoulder turning back, but take your left armpit forward. It will be open to the side and that's fine, but practice. How much can you turn it forward? Then maybe the elbow, crook, and the toes get closer together. Maybe the right hand stays or wraps across the front of the heart space, just in a hug. Hey, if it doesn't feel like a hug, a good hug, then don't do it. Okay, the other option is eventually to take the hand over your head, chest forward. Okay, right armpit pulls back, left chest armpit pulls forward. We breathe and out. Last one, pause in the pose and out. Release, hands down, ease the left leg back, tuck toes, downward facing dog, hips float as we invert the spine. Breathe in, breathe out. One more here, inhale and exhale. Lift your gaze, look forward between your hands. Step your left foot to the top of the mat. Turn your right heel in and down. Set up like warrior one. Turn your left hip back, right hip forward. Then work to press the front leg long. And then you can fold over that leg, offering some extension, some release. Mind the lumbar, mind the hyperextension, mind the forced rounded shape. Bend that front knee and adjust accordingly so that you can easily drape down over that front leg. Take another breath. And out. Inhale, bend the front knee, lift the back heel, step forward. Fold over your legs as you exhale. Half lift in breath. Left foot steps back, turn the heel in and down. Adjust your hands in line with the front foot. Take your outer right hip back. Lengthen the trunk, in breath, lengthen the leg, exhale. Stay here as you adjust and spin the hips, and then eventually you'll fold down over the front leg. Pressing down with the big toe mound of the right foot, that front foot, as you spin the outer right hip up and back. Take another breath in. End your breath out. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, soften the front knee, lift your gaze, step forward, top of the mat, fold over your legs as you exhale. Half lift in breath. Exhale, separate your feet, sit yourself down to Malasana, as little, as low, or as high as you'd like to come. Your hands can stay on the floor, your fingertips can come gently together. We're inviting the spine to hang here, collarbones broad. In essence, this deep squat posture kind of brings together the asymmetrical aspects of our pigeon into the symmetry of the squat. Take one more breath. Let your breath come out. And then easefully let yourself come down onto your seat. And let the legs extend and move in front of you. Offer a little movement, a little release. With the left leg staying as it is, take the right foot up into Virasana. Little rotation, turning the body forward, the arms lift up, the front leg extended. Exhale, we fold, letting ourselves come forward and down. Again, a nice deep forward fold here, a nice counter to our posturing. The rotation that happens here in this pose, across the spine in particular, is such a welcome release post-back bending practice, helping to create that extension and length into the region that tends to get over kind of crunched, engaged when we practice back bends. So just like anything else, we have to practice moving in all different directions. And take one more breath here. Let your breath move out. Inhale, rise again, come up, take that front knee, slide the leg forward, right away second side, left foot comes to Virasana. We practice turning ourselves forward, extending the arms, breathe in, exhale, come forward, hands at the leg, calf, or towards the foot. We now give the lower quadrant on the left side of our back, our hips, a bit more space. We turn the left ribs down, we lift the right ribs up, we ease into whatever depth this posture holds for us. Breathe. And stay for one more breath here. And out. And then inhale again, rise, come on up. As you do, guide the left leg forward, shake those legs out. Let's bend both knees a little bit with the big toes touching. Take your hands behind the legs, maybe towards holding your forearms, your elbows, or just lacing your fingers. Let your forehead, nose descend towards your knees. Just let yourself kind of hug and wrap in here, keeping the contact of your belly and thighs. Maybe slide those heels forward, extending the backs of the legs a bit more, in order to then more deeply access the space in the vertebrae and the lower aspect of your spine. Continue to keep your shoulders out of your ears and the crown of your head extending towards the tips of those toes as your seat stretches back in opposition. Okay, take one more breath here. And out. And then inhale, slowly rise, release those arms, bend your knees as you need to, and then ease your way onto your back. As you come down onto your back, I invite you to take your knees into your chest. Give yourself, again, a nice little hug and squeeze in. Feel free to rock, create a couple of simple circles. Go the other way. And then again, let yourself hug, hug, hug in. And then as you're ready, let your feet land to the floor. Perhaps your knees stay bent in your Shavasana today, with the thighs spiraling and falling towards one another. Maybe you rest there for a few breaths. Perhaps you let the arms unfold and rest on the mat beside you. And maybe after a moment or two, the legs will be ready to extend completely into Shavasana, maybe not. You might not know that until you get there. You have to then backtrack, retrace your steps. And then we just let ourselves come to rest. And let ourselves be washed by the ebb and flow of the breath. Now noticing the stillness practice once again come to our bodies. And as much as our body is still, there is still a continuous ebb and flow of movement. Aside from the breath, aside from the thinking and these words that echo in your ear, all of the systems in your body are working and moving and flushing and cleaning and healing all the pieces and parts, moving them as easily as possible back to a place of balance. Like shifting the puzzle pieces around until you find the right place for each one. And then you get to step back. And in stepping back, you see the whole picture. In this case, the picture that is yourself. Om Bhurбhuvah-svaham Tat Savitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo nah prachodayam Om Bhurбhuvah-svaham Tat Savitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo nah prachodayam Om Bhurбhuvah-svaham Tat Savitruvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo nah prachodayam Om. Go ahead and let your breath come in a little bit deeper here. And then some simple movements. Come back to your body. Move your chin. Let it roll side to side. Move your shoulders, arms, and hands. And extend your legs. Flex your feet. Point your toes. Stretch things out from fingertips to toe tips. Hug things in, wrapping the arms around your knees, your shins. And then as you're ready, slowly make your way from your back over to your side. And then from your side, find your way through to your seat. Arriving to your seat, let's again unify the hands in Anjali Mudra in front of the heart center. Soften the shoulders onto the back. You feel the positioning and postures of the legs and the hips beneath you as you then practice rising, extending, not just through your spine, but up through the crown and beyond. Thank you so much in sharing this practice. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. Namaste.